It started on a normal Tuesday night during a fight. Not in the middle of some storm, just silence. I had just come home from work, the usual rhythm of my life playing out as I kicked off my shoes, the soft clatter of my keys hitting the counter, the hum of the fridge, the faint smell of her shampoo lingering in the hallway. She was standing by the window, arms folded, not even looking at me. When I asked, "Hey, what's wrong?" she just turned her face, empty, almost rehearsed, and said, "I can't stand you anymore." For a moment, I thought I misheard her, actually chuckled, thinking she was joking. But there was no smile, no anger. She wasn't even upset. She was just done. That hurt more than any shouting ever could. I stood there frozen, trying to say something, anything. But when I looked into her eyes, I saw it. She wasn't looking for a fight. She wasn't even looking for a reason to stay. She was simply finished. So, I did something I never thought I'd do. I left. Not for the night, not for a walk. I left everything. I didn't pack a suitcase. I didn't leave a note. I just grabbed my wallet, my car keys, and drove. And I didn't stop until the world behind me felt like it no longer existed. I ended up in a small gray town by the coast, one of those places with more boats than people. No one asked questions. No one cared about your past. I rented a room above a hardware store, paid in cash, found work under the table fixing busted fences and rusted gutters. I told everyone my name was Drew. That was it. I didn't mention Isabel or the life I had before. Every morning I walked the docks before dawn, coffee in hand, my jacket zipped high against the wind. Seagulls squawked overhead, boats creaked softly on the water, and my heart stayed quiet. People think running away is cowardice, but sometimes disappearing is the only way you survive. Still, no matter how far I went, there were pieces of her everywhere. The smell of tea in the morning, the songs on the radio, the way I would still reach for her hand in my sleep. She never called, not once. And that, in its own way, hurt more than anything. Months passed and I built a quiet life for myself. But then one day, the call came that cracked open the shell I had built around myself. It was Darren, an old friend. We both knew someone I hadn't spoken to since I left. He found me through mutual connections, and his voice was cautious, like he knew the news he was about to deliver would hit harder than he wanted. "It's Isabel," he said. I felt my grip tighten around the phone. "She's sick, man. Cancer. Stage 1. They caught it early. She's alone." "Silence, Andrew," he added softly. "I know it's not my place. She's not doing great, and she doesn't really have anybody else." I don't remember saying goodbye. I just remember the sound of the highway as I drove. The next morning, I was back on the road, heading toward her, not knowing what I would find. Would she slam the door in my face? Would she even let me in? But when I knocked, she opened the door. She looked thinner, tired, but still unmistakably her. Her eyes widened when she saw me. "Andrew," she whispered. "I'm here," I said. "You don't have to say anything. I'm just here if you need someone." She didn't speak. She just stepped aside and let me in. The house hadn't changed much, but it felt colder, quieter, like it hadn't been lived in for a long time. That first night, I slept on the couch. She didn't offer a bed, and I didn't expect one. The next morning, I made tea the way she liked it, muscle memory, I guess. She sipped it without a word. Days passed like that. Quiet routines, soft gestures, no past, no future, just the moment. Her treatment started soon after chemotherapy. The exhaustion, the nausea. I drove her, sat with her, cleaned up when she couldn't keep food down, held her hair while she threw up, held her hand when she couldn't stop shaking. Sometimes she would cry in her sleep. Other times she wouldn't sleep at all. But through it all I stayed. Not because I expected anything in return. Not because I needed closure. But because love doesn't vanish just because you walk away. One night, 3 months in, she broke the silence. We were sitting in the kitchen the same way we always did, and she looked up from her tea. "Why did you come back?" she asked. I paused, thought about lying, but didn't. "Because I still care," I said, my voice steady. "Even when you didn't." She nodded slowly, her lip trembling, but no tears came. And for the first time in almost a year, She reached across the table and touched my hand. That moment, small and quiet, was everything. It shifted something. The next 2 months were different. She started laughing again, just a little. We watched movies on the couch like we used to. We went on slow walks around the block, her fingers hooked around my arm. I'd read to her when she was too tired to look at a screen, and she'd fall asleep with her head on my shoulder. We talked about everything, why it fell apart, why we stopped listening, why she said what she said. She told me she had felt invisible, unheard, lonely, even in a room with me. I told her I felt helpless, like nothing I did was ever enough. It hurt, but it was real. And sometimes pain is the only way you find the truth. And then came the day we were waiting for. The doctor looked over the results, smiled, and said, "You're clear." Just like that. No fanfare, no dramatic music, just relief so heavy it made her collapse into my arms, sobbing like a child. I held her like I never wanted to let go again. She beat cancer, but in those 5 months we beat something else too. We beat silence, pride, distance. We remembered who we were, and more importantly, who we could still become together. We didn't start over. We started honest. That made all the difference.